What's going on, guys? This is Kurtis Hagen here from the Shady Sports Network, here to discuss the blockbuster trade, and I say that being facetious, as it was very lackluster. The lackluster trade that happened between the Carolina Panthers today and the Cleveland Browns involving Baker Mayfield moving to the Carolina Panthers for a fifth-round pick. Now, if you listen to the podcast we did earlier this year, I didn't have Baker Mayfield in my starting quarterback top list because obviously he wasn't supposed to be the starter in Cleveland, and even if he was, um, up for contention, he wouldn't have beat Deshaun Watson out, and I would have put him maybe like 27th or 28th on my list if he would have been on a different roster. So now Sam Darnold and him will probably not battle for a position. I'm sure Baker Mayfield will have the position here in Carolina, but it obviously Baker Mayfield's a upgrade. I'd say for Sam Darnold, he has more body of work to go off of. They're both kind of injury prone, both the same age. Obviously, came out of college same time, and the Browns and Jets. They could have picked either one. Everybody thought the Jets were trying to get Baker, and both of them would have probably ended up the same way. What people I keep seeing online is people defending Baker Mayfield and people defending and I just don't get it because Baker Mayfield, he has a bad attitude. He's had a bad attitude. He doesn't have a really good. He's not a good character person. He's been that way since college. He was kind of a douchey at college. He's a jerk. He's a big finger pointer in the offense. Points his fingers at his coach. Points his fingers at his running backs. Points his fingers at his offensive line. Points his fingers at his wide receivers. The GM, the any kind of coach he can, offensive coordinator. Baker Mayfield's blaming them. Never points it at himself when he makes a mistake. He's a bum of a quarterback. I know he's been injured, but he's just a bum. He went 29-30 as a starter. That's not great. He's 27 years old. He's 27. He was traded for basically what you'd get like if you were a 34-year-old wide receiver in the NFL. Fifth-round pick. Being 27 and being a starting quarterback in the league, was a first-round pick. You should go no further than down than a second-round pick in return. Baker Mayfield is trash. Anybody that watches this and disagrees, and you have something to say, I don't know what kind of football you watch. I don't. If you defend Baker Mayfield, not only because he plays bad and he makes bad decisions, and he also just points fingers. He's just a jerk. Like he has a bad attitude. If Baker Mayfield was somebody else, and I don't even mean to get this kind of way, but if Baker Mayfield's skin was a little bit darker and he had the same attitude with the same kind of play, everybody in the league would be like, get him out of here. All these fans would say, get him out of here. He's a bum. He sucks. He sucks. He sucks. He has a bad attitude. Oh, he's a team cancer. He's locker room cancer. Like what they do to wide receivers, what they did to Des Bryant, what they said about Terrell Owens, Antonio Brown. Take it or leave it. But there's a lot of wide receivers and quarterbacks that played better or either had maybe had a similar situation in which coaches said that they didn't listen, or coaches they didn't pay attention, or coaches said they were uncoachable, and those guys were called pieces of garbage, and they were moved out of the league. You got people screaming and fighting on social media over how 50% of people are saying Baker Mayfield's it's everybody else's fault except for his, and the other part that actually have eyes see no, Baker Mayfield's the problem, and here's proof. So Odell Beckham Jr. had a 62.774% catch rate in 5 seasons with the Giants, including the bad years that he had with Eli in his career. He made Pro Bowls in his first 3 seasons. Everybody knows this. He was a record setter in receptions, yards, and touchdowns for a receiver by the first 50 games of your career. Odell Beckham Jr. was looking to be like one of the, the next Randy Moss. He was supposed to be this new prodigal wide receiver. His first year with the Browns. So, like I said, 62%. He had a high of like 70 with Eli his first season. His first season with the Browns, 55.6% catch rate. Second season with the Browns, 53.5% catch rate. Third season with the Browns, 50% catch rate, and that was before his move to the Rams. His yards per target were down while he was in Cleveland. He only had 5 drops his whole time in Cleveland. So anybody looking, oh, well, his catch rate was because of his drops. No, it wasn't. He had 5 drops. He had 5 drops out of 210 targets with the Browns, and he was one of the best young talents in the league, and it was just wasted by Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield either wouldn't throw to him or threw badly to him. And it's not OBJ's fault that Baker Mayfield can't throw. Here, let's bring up number 2, Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry had a 70.65% catch rate in his 4 seasons with the Dolphins, and he went to the Pro Bowl 4 seasons in a row. And his first year with Baker, he had a 54.4% catch rate. Second year was 60.1. His third year, he was up 71.3, and then his fourth year was back to normal, 59.8. He had 23 drops in 4 years with the Browns out of 475 targets. Now, that's pretty standard in NFL right now for drops for starting wide receivers. And Jarvis Landry's known to be short-handed and a great possession receiver. But you see the difference. Now, Jarvis Landry didn't have a great quarterback in Miami. He had Ryan Tannehill, but he still had a 70.65% catch rate. You throw him a catchable ball, he can catch it. Baker Mayfield is trash. And anybody says that he doesn't watch football and doesn't know that the wide receivers can't make up for bad passes. I saw today that people are bringing up the Robbie Anderson post from when they asked him before the draft if the Panthers should trade for Baker Mayfield. And Robbie Anderson was like, no, with like 50 O's. And I see people are saying, oh, well, if Robbie Anderson was worthwhile, he'd put up better numbers. And it's like, okay, well, let's put up proof that Robbie Anderson isn't the problem either. Robbie Anderson had a 53% catch rate in 4 years with the Jets. Now, you know who his quarterbacks were? Sam Darnold, Josh McCown, Bryce Petty, Luke Falk, and Trevor Siemian. Ooh, there's a bunch of great Pro Bowlers right there. So 53% catch rate. He didn't have 1,000 yards in any of those seasons. His first year with the Panthers, he had a 69.9% catch rate, and it was his first 1,000-yard season. His next season, they brought the same bum quarterback that he had from New York, which is Darnold, and his catch rate was 48.2. Now, obviously, Darnold got hurt. They brought in washed up Cam Newton with his shoulder that's never been the same, and was it PJ Walker? Now, Robbie Anderson has 19 drops in his career, less drops than Jarvis Landry, but Robbie Anderson's only 1,000-yard season came with a new system and a quarterback that was it Kyle Anderson? He's nowhere. He's not the best quarterback ever, but is he better than Sam Darnold? It seems like it. Is he better than Josh McCown at that age? Is he better than Bryce Petty, Luke Falk, and Trevor Siemian? He's better than all of them combined. But they brought in Sam Darnold thinking that they could resurrect, reclaim him, and they couldn't. Robbie Anderson can't throw himself better balls. It's not a wide receiver's fault that their catch rate is down because the quarterback throws bad throws, or the quarterback can't keep his eyes up and starts rushing, when the pocket breaks down, the quarterback doesn't step up into the pocket and throw because he's scared or has happy feet from getting hit. So OBJ, Landry, Robbie Anderson are all examples of decent. Robbie Anderson's better than decent, but is DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson down in Carolina better than OBJ and Landry? No, they're not. Is DJ Moore better than Jarvis Landry? Yes. Is DJ Moore better than OBJ? Maybe now, but 4 years ago, 3 years ago, no way. Is Robbie Anderson better than Landry or OBJ? No, but still, it's still a decent receiving core. Now, the Panthers do not have an Austin Hooper. They do not have a David Njoku. What they do have is Christian McCaffrey, if he's healthy, that can kind of, what they were trying to do with Kareem Hunt. What they don't have is a bell cow running back to hand off to 400 times a year that's going to, ride your team to the playoffs in Nick Chubb. The Carolina Panthers do not have that. Christian McCaffrey cannot rush like that. Christian McCaffrey does not have the body or the frame to handle that workload. His body's been breaking down just from what he's been doing as 100 receptions and the 1,000 yards receiving or rushing a year. That's a lot. But he's not Derrick Henry style play like what Nick Chubb is. Nick Chubb's a bruiser. He's a downhill runner. What Kareem Hunt does is what Christian McCaffrey does. But Christian McCaffrey just does a little bit better than Kareem Hunt. But he doesn't have that in Carolina. Baker is, he's only a 61.6% career accuracy passer. 19% percentage-wise of his career are bad throws. He's had 102 player drops to 343 bad throws that were off target in his career. He resulting in 56 interceptions, and he only works well in a play action style offense. Baker Mayfield does not play well out of the pocket. He does not play well on RPOs. Baker Mayfield can't really read defenses. Baker Mayfield it only can rely on the run game. He has, Jimmy Garoppolo, same way. People that try to make up for Baker Mayfield and try to say he's better than he is, I'm sorry. The guy sucks. He might do good in Carolina because, obviously you can only really go up from what Baker Mayfield did. The Browns should have won the Super Bowl with that roster that they assembled, offensive and defensive. And what they do, they didn't do anything. They sucked. And Baker Mayfield, yeah, he got hurt. But Baker Mayfield, I mean, you can't make it up. People, I don't understand. I've never seen anybody ever in my life walk around with a Baker Mayfield jersey. But you go on the internet and you see people saying, oh, Baker's a good quarterback. And you're like, what NFL are you watching? Because, the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Steelers, the Steelers were in it. They made the playoffs last year. And what did the Browns do? I mean, with Ben Roethlisberger, I mean, what did the Browns do? Nothing. And they had it was, at that moment, it was like the greatest roster ever assembled. So it's just embarrassing for Baker Mayfield to be 27 and get traded for a 5th round pick. And he should at least got a 2nd round pick. I mean, we're going to go look at some of the biggest quarterback trades ever. And you're going to see that there was, old washed up guys that got better than this. Brett Favre's trade from Atlanta to the Packers. Brett Favre didn't even play his first year. He had a hip injury. He was traded for a 1st round pick when he was drafted for a 2nd round pick the year before. Joe Montana was traded in 1993 to the Chiefs after missing the entire the year before. And he was traded, and now Joe Montana was drafted in 1978, and Joe Montana was traded for a 1st round pick. And it was Joe Montana and a 3rd rounder for a 1st round pick by the Chiefs. Warren Moon, after his 10th season with the Oilers, and also he had, 5 or 6 years in the Canadian Football League, was traded for a 4th and 5th round pick. Now, the guy was in his late 30s to the Minnesota Vikings. The Colts traded Jeff George. Or the Falcons traded Jeff George to the Colts for a 1st rounder. I mean, that's Jeff George. I mean, these guys were not good. Chris Chandler was given a 4th and 6th round pick for a 32-year-old Chris Chandler. The Falcons gave the Oilers a 5th and a 6th rounder for Chris Chandler. That's Chris Chandler. Baker. Nobody's ever thinks of Chris Chandler being better than Baker Mayfield. But NFL GMs thought so. Matt Hasselbeck got the Dolphins traded a 1st rounder for Hasselbeck. But the Packers ended up working the deal out and traded him to the Seahawks. And they got the 17th overall pick from the Seahawks. That's Matt Hasselbeck. Nobody talks about Matt Hasselbeck being better than Baker Mayfield, but maybe people should start. Drew Bledsoe, when he was traded after his injury, 9 years with the Patriots, he was traded for a 1st round pick to the Bills. This guy was in his 30s. Baker Mayfield's 27 years old and is supposed to be his great quarterback, according to people on social media. All these armchair quarterbacks that never played football before and don't know what they're watching, I guess. Dante Culpepper in 2006 was traded to the Miami Dolphins. Nick Saban wanted him, and they gave up a 2nd round pick for washed up Dante Culpepper that could only fumble the ball. The Patriots, they cashed in on Matt Castle's historic season there while filling in for Brady when he tore his ACL. And they got a 2nd round pick from Kansas City for him. Jay Cutler was traded from Denver for a 2nd round pick, a 1st round and a 2nd round pick. Carson Palmer was traded from the Bengals to the Raiders, and he got a 1st and 2nd round pick for Palmer. He was in his 30s. Nick Foles and Sam Bradford were traded for each other. They also changed, but that's still Sam Bradford. That's a quarterback for a quarterback. It wasn't just Baker Mayfield for a 5th round pick. Jimmy Garoppolo, who didn't even play, he was traded to the 49ers for what they get for him, a 2nd rounder Yeah, they first, second round. I mean, that was a guy that nobody even knew if he was going to start, but how good he was going to turn out. Obviously, he didn't turn out that well. And then, most notably, look at what the Rams did. The Rams traded Stafford, often injured, late in his career, and they also gave the quarterback that they, traded their whole world for, and and Jared Goff. But they gave up 2 first-round picks and Goff for Sam Darnold, but they won the Super Bowl that year. And then obviously now you had Russell Wilson being traded with the big, Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, and 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders for Russell Wilson. Now that's what quarterbacks are supposed to get in return for their services. When a team trades their franchise quarterback, and if people that argue and say that I can't even think of the bum's name anymore. If people argue and say that Baker Mayfield is a starting caliber quarterback in the league and he's this franchise quarterback and he's great, why would he get a 5th round pick at 27 years old when he just started 4 seasons straight? It doesn't make sense. Everybody in NFL that knows and pulls the strings, the NFL, the GMs, the coaches, they know about Baker Mayfield. The receivers, they know about Baker Mayfield. These guys don't want to play for him. These receivers know they don't want to play for him. They know for a fact he's not going to get them the ball. Carolina's going to suffer because their offense is not going to work well with Baker Mayfield because nobody's scared of Christian McCaffrey at this point in his career because he hasn't played in the past 2 years. And they don't have a Nick Chubb style running. So what are they going to do? Is he just going to force the ball to DJ Moore? Probably not. Is he going to force the ball to Robbie Anderson? Probably not. So what's he going to do? Besides probably go 7-9 or 7-10 or 6-11. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that he's going to do anything special. I think that Baker Mayfield will be a backup in the league in the next 2-3 years. My name's Kurtis Hagen. That's my thoughts on Baker Mayfield. I don't hold no punches. The guy's a bum. If you're a fan of him, good luck. But, you guys enjoy your day. Thanks for rocking with me. Check us out on all our socials. It's Shady Sports Network. Look us up on Spotify, Apple, whatever you want to do, our podcast or page or Twitch, everything you guys got. You guys have a blessed day. I'll see you guys later.